Hello, I'm Eduard de Kok from the Interpreting Service, and this is a quick guide on how to set up your lecture for remote interpreting using Microsoft Teams. Using these steps, you can essentially walk into your lecture hall, activate Teams, and any students attending your lecture can use their phones, laptops, or tablets to listen to the interpreted version of what you're saying, like a drive-in movie theater. Step 1 is to schedule the lectures, the ones that allow the interpreters to see and hear you presenting in class. Using the Teams app on your computer, go to Calendar and then click New Meeting. In the title, name the session something that would make it clear to you and the interpreters what this is for. Something like the module name, the group number if you're dealing with many groups in that specific module, and English if you are presenting in English. In the field Add Required Attendees, you'll need to add the venue you'll be presenting in. All venues equipped with an ELS, Extended Learning Space System, those black podiums, are set up in such a way that you can invite the venue to your Teams session. In this example, the lecture takes place in the Van der Ster building, room 1031. So that's the venue I add here. If your venue is not equipped with an ELS system, that's fine as well. You don't add the venue then, there will just be an extra step you'll need to follow once you're in the venue itself. Now invite the interpreters as required attendees, either by copy-pasting their email addresses or typing them out manually. This part is the most tedious, but luckily you'll only need to do this for 1 week of sessions, and I'll show you why in just a bit. Here, you set the date and time that the lecture starts and finishes. If your lecture were to start at 11 o'clock and you want to be specific and say it runs until 11:50, you can manually tweak the time here, otherwise just set it to an hour, i.e. 12 o'clock. This gives you the option to weekly repeat the session. So now it automatically creates every week's session without having to invite the venue and the interpreters again for the rest of the semester. When you click weekly, Teams asks until when these sessions should repeat. And here you can just input the date that your sessions end. When you click send here, you now save that meeting session to appear once every week during that specific time, 11 o'clock. If you're presenting more than one session per week, you'll need to repeat this step that we've just done, creating a new meeting, adding the required attendees and the venue, and pressing send again. The next step is to create the sessions that the students will be tuning into, the ones into which the interpreters will be interpreting. Now, some lecturers have opted that their module page on Sunlearn links with Microsoft Teams. To keep this explanation simple, however, we're going to explain how you can set up sessions and then share the link for that on Sunlearn. And therefore, any student that looks on the Sunlearn page can get access to the interpreted lecture. The simplest way is to set up parallel sessions to the ones you've just created. In other words, again, you follow the steps from creating a new meeting and setting the times and schedule, saying repeat weekly, indicating the end date. But the big difference is, at required attendees, you no longer include the venue. You only input the interpreters. Again, it's important to give these sessions a clear title. Again, you save this session to your calendar by clicking send, because now it sends the invitation to the interpreters. But the students still need access to this interpreted lecture. To do that, the simplest way is to copy the link of the session and saving it on Sunlearn. And you only need to copy the link for every day of the week in which you're lecturing. In other words, you won't need to copy a link for Monday 13th February and Monday 20th February. You can just copy the link for Mondays at 11 o'clock. To copy the link for the session, just look on your calendar, right-click on the session and click Copy Link. This is the link that you can then paste on Sunlearn for students to follow. You'll notice that the link that you paste is quite lengthy. If you prefer to have your Sunlearn looking a bit neater, what you could do is just say, click here, highlight those words, and then say insert or edit link. And where it asks for the link URL, you just paste the lengthy link in there. and say Insert. And now, if anyone were to click on the link with their laptop or tap on it using their phone, it will take them to the interpreting session. Step 3 is the final step, connecting in the classroom. If your venue is equipped with an ELS system, check the top middle screen to make sure that screen sharing is on. It is by default, but sometimes someone might have accidentally turned it off. Now, you've already set up your session over Teams, so you should see either the name of the session or your name appear in that same screen with a Join button. Pressing that will connect the venue to the lecture session, and that's it. From here, interpreters can listen to your lecture and follow your slides, interpreting into the channel which the students have access to. If your venue does not use a hybrid system, you're going to have to manually connect to the session by opening Teams on the venue computer, logging into your profile, going to the calendar, and selecting that lecture session to join. From here, just make sure that your microphone is unmuted and that you're sharing whatever the interpreters are supposed to see to follow your lecture. Please note that this is a very basic guide to setting up sessions for remote interpreting. If any aspect is unclear or if you have any questions not answered by this guide, we're always happy to help. Just send an email to Juanli Theron, the head of the interpreting service, juanli@sun.ac.za. You're also welcome to contact Christine Joubert, who coordinates the interpreting timetable, Christine Joubert@sun.ac.za. Thank you, and looking forward to working with you.